Okay, let's see. I think I was faster this time. We'll see. I'm a little early, but that's okay. We'll see who comes. Ooh, hello. So I think if you follow the link that's posted on Patreon, it'll take you to YouTube, and that way you can use the chat. But I will be watching Patreon, so you can either view it from the link and type in the YouTube chat, or you can type on Patreon, and I will monitor those as well. So, wow. Okay, so a few more people joined. If you follow the link that's posted, instead of just clicking on the video, it'll take you to YouTube, and you can join the chat there, and I will see those, but I'll also see the stuff from Patreon. Hi, Mandy. I am doing good. I'm doing better. Getting over whatever my child gave me. Now it's mostly just my sinuses realizing what time of year it is. So that's super fun. I have really bad sinuses. I don't know if anybody else does, but I do. Gotta love it. Who else is here? I see Mandy. Mandy's here. But yeah, I know it's just now 8 o'clock. But just wanted to go live with you guys and see if you guys had any questions or anything you wanted to chat about. I know we've had some new information that's come out. Hi, Nicole. What's up? I know that we've had some new information come out that's a little bit of, it is going to come out to the larger group. It's going to come out stuff about Alania and Victoria, or Veronica. That's going to come out. Hi, Alyssa, to the larger group in EJ's book. So you guys have a little bit of a preview of that because somebody requested that scene, and it couldn't be written without that coming out. So that stuff is going to come out to larger groups. You guys just get, you get the little details, you get the little extras, and you kind of get to be in the know before everybody else. Hi, Levon. Took a bit to get on the online website. Yeah, it happens. It's okay. You're here, and that's what counts. Hi, Sylvia. Welcome. Oh, it's 3 a.m. Oh, my goodness. You're up very late. I'm honored that you're joining our live at 3 a.m. where you are. Where are you? I don't know. Where is everybody? Everybody tell me where you're from. I'm in the Midwest in the U.S., so for me, it's just after 8 p.m. and my son has just gone to bed. New Jersey, what's up? I used to travel for work. Georgia, I've been there too. Canada, oh my gosh, my last client before I stopped traveling was in Canada. One of my favorite coworkers, she retired, but she lives in Canada. So love Canada. Indiana, my parents are actually from Indiana. Belgium, what's up? Cool. Texas, been to Texas. One of the last places I went to before my doctor put me on no traveling for work was almost Mexico, but it was Texas. So I was there for a few days. I used to play volleyball in high school and in college, and had several tournaments in Texas. So I actually have extended family that has a restaurant in Texas. So loving all these places. I would love to go to Belgium. I haven't been there. I've been to Ireland. Have not gotten to travel much to Europe, but I would love to. Oklahoma, what's up? I've also been there. I used to travel a lot for work, so I've been several places. If anybody's from Delaware, I was in Delaware a lot. and Michigan. I was in Michigan a lot too. But okay, does anybody have questions about all the things that we know that's either been revealed in Lexi's book, actually any of the books, or any of the shorts that are coming? Last time we went live, I didn't tell you guys. There was one, there were a couple of outtakes that I have planned that I couldn't tell you guys at the time because I couldn't very well tell you that, Alania's, like, Veronica and Alania, when Alania dies, that scene was coming because nobody knew that Veronica killed her. So couldn't very well tell you guys last time that is on the list. We are gonna see that. So that is happening, I promise. Don't worry. Several people asked about that. Belgium is not so bad. Politics are awful, but where is that different? No, it's not different anywhere. We all have politic problems. Yeah, I'm sure it is beautiful. I've seen pictures. I would love to go there. Before we had my son, I said I've always wanted to go to Ireland. So we went over there before we had him so that we knew we would get that trip in. So, yeah. Is anybody from Hawaii? That's where I took my honeymoon, was Hawaii. Okay. You guys are quiet tonight. Does anybody have questions? Lived there for 3 years. Ooh, that's cool. Always wanted to travel to the U.S. You should. It's fun to visit a bunch of places here. Can we see Queen Veronica and King Titus' view of wanting Haley to adopt Veronica? I don't see why not. I think that living in Jamaica, what's up? I think that would be a fun scene to have. Veronica or Titus's point of view on that. So I can add that to my personal list. Let's see. Okay. Titus and Veronica. Haley asking to be adopted. On the list. What's up with Alpha Oliver's Half Fairy Son? I'm rereading the first book. I did see this, and I just answered it on the Facebook group. So his son is not training on his fairy powers yet. Haley's still talking to him. He's a little bit resistant to it because a lot of the wolves are not really they're not an accepting group yet. They're getting there. They're progressing. So he's a little gun shy about it. But his children are training because his Luna was like, that's part of them, and they're going to learn how to do that and be more powerful for it. So his children are training. He's not yet. Let's see. I saw another question. How old are the Hecura when they can find their mates, and how do they know who their mate is? So the Hecura can find their mate at 16, and they know who it is because they feel a connection to them. So kind of like the hood, they're like, they feel a pull towards that person. That's how the Hecura feel as well. Do I plan on making a book for Lexi's kids? Ooh, guys, that's a fun question. I have an outline for one of her kids. We'll see about the other ones, but I do have one planned for them. Can't wait for Eric's dad's point of view on what happened with Cassandra. Oh, poor Nathan. I actually don't have that planned, and no one has asked for that yet. So we'll see if we get a Nathan point of view on what's going on with that, because he's in a tough spot. Because it's his mate. She has been his mate, and he loves her. You know, they have 4 kids together, and he's just he loves her. He knows who she is. He accepts who she is. He's not happy with how things are going though. So he's in a bit of a tough spot because he understands where Eric is coming from, and that's his son. He loves his son. He loves all his sons. So he does understand where they're coming from. He's in a hard place right now. Let's see. The chat between Bexley and Idell and sharing their lights. That's coming. That is on my personal list. Because for fairies, they were just raised differently, and they were raised to be jealous of their light. But Bexley and Idell have a different viewpoint because, they've seen how the fairies are and how they live, and that's how they've lived. And, now they're around all the partial fairies who are sharing their light and who are extremely happy in their relationships with their mate. So, it did take them a little bit to come around to that. But, they kind of talk about that and how they were raised, and maybe that the partial fairies have it right and that they shouldn't be so selfish with their light, with their mate. So, that's a fun conversation between them, and that is coming. Will there be Emlyn, Haley, will there be an abduction in Lexi's story like with Emlyn and Haley's? So technically, we can't get into that, guys. But right now, the people who that we know of that wanted to take people are dead. So, but there, we still got Eddie. Eddie's still out there, so not sure what's happening with him. We need an outtake on the island. What island? Which island? Haley's Island? What do you want to know about Haley's Island? Let's see. How far along are we into the end of the book, and how long before we hear more about the other ring? Okay, so the other rings. That's a really big theme in the book. It's not going to be resolved in Lexi's book, guys. It's a really big thing that's going on, and as we learned from Bjorn in the last chapter, it's something that Hakura have been dealing with since Titus and his brother were younger. So they're protectors of the supernatural groups and all the realms. The only one they can't get into is Foray. They can get into any other realm without an invitation. Foray is the only place they need an invitation. And so their job is to protect everybody. So they've been working on this for quite some time, and it is big, and it is something that is going to be felt throughout this universe I've created. And we can see that they're trying their best to stop that. But as Hansen pointed out, they are hard to find. And as Bjorn said, they are hard to find. When they dig into one, they run into dead ends. So, we're going to see that play out. How close are we to the end of this book? We've got a little bit to get through left. I would say we are closing towards the end. We're well over halfway here. So we are closing towards the end, and we are kind of seeing some of that come to play with, things wrapping up. We do have Lexi and Chase's wedding coming up. We've got to deal with Eddie. We've got lots of babies that we might see born. And it was mentioned that Emlyn is the valedictorian of her class, and she's obviously going to invite Lexi to the graduation. So we have that graduation as well to get through. Where was Cassandra shipped off to? Oh, she's in Montana. So that is where she is. Okay. When Fabian told the queen that the teacher found her mate and went to the human realm when he killed her, how could he do that when he couldn't lie? So he didn't lie. He knows who her mate, the teacher's mate, was. The teacher's mate was a human. And so he did take her to the human realm, to her mate. And she did want she wanted to eventually live with her mate in the human world, and she knew he wouldn't be accepted in Foray. So he took her to the human realm and killed her. So he was very evasive in how he explained that. But he did kill her in the human realm with her mate. He killed her mate too. But let me know if that answers your question. What's going on with Hexie and her mate? They met at the meeting and just popped away. Yeah, they are living in the water territory. We had that group of fairies. They're trying to figure out how to integrate Aiden. Aiden is trying to figure out how to integrate them into Foray. They're getting along So they're actually having a lot of fun together right now. He, as he said, had been waiting for her for a very long time. How do I pronounce Halloran? Halloran. Love hearing how you pronounce things. Found out how I pronounce. A lot of these are how I pronounce them in my head, guys. They might not be right. The words that I made up, I'm going to go ahead and say those are right because I made them up. So, let's see. How much of Raised to Cura have you already written? So other than those like little prologues that I've written for you guys here, I don't write other books while I'm writing a current one because my brain I write outlines, but my brain doesn't work. I couldn't get too far into Raised to Cura, and I feel like I would rush Lexi's book, and I don't want to do that. So I just focus on one book at a time. I have written the prologue, but I left it there because to me the prologues for those, like, they're little shorts, like I've posted here, little short outtakes, little scenes. So that's as far as I am with that book. The entire outline is written, so I know where that story is going. Let's see. I don't know if you saw my last book. I did see your Facebook post about how to pronounce Haley and Aiden and Arian and Elania's last name. It is Halloran. Someone beat you to the request. Hey, that means you get to think of another one. So, yeah, there have been a couple this month that I've messaged people back telling them it's already on the list so that they get to think of a new one. I think your guys' ideas and stuff are great. I love them. Will Lizzie get a second string? We will have to see. We will have to see what happens. We'll have to see what happens with her. So, and Denise is about to die here, guys, because Aiden and Haley have all the tools. She was supposed to go to Foray after they dealt with Hansen, but as we saw, Hansen made a deal with the demons to sell his soul to try to knock Kayla unconscious and take her. He thought that the spell was supposed to knock Kayla unconscious, and then he, like everybody, would knock everybody unconscious except him, and he could take her, Lexi, and Emma. So that's why he thought he wasn't going to die. But, as we established, he's not the brightest tool in the shed. So, let's see. What else do we have? I'm going to go to sleep. Thanks for joining, Sylvia. Try to have some earlier on Sundays so that it's easier for you to join. When they were talking about expanding the shroud, they said they would use their magic. What does that mean? So Lexi's family has magic to create the shroud. They're the leaders, and their bloodline has that ability. So between Jasper, Jordan, and Heath, they're going to make the shroud larger to accommodate the second shroud's people coming in, because Heath is going to honor his father, and he wants to get to know his family, the cousins. They're going to ignore the aunts and uncles and the grandparents because, well, I would, wouldn't you? Let's see. Are demons going to be a big part in the next book? In Raised to Cura? They don't really, no, not a big part. They're around. Other supernaturals are around, and we kind of see how they all interact. But in Raised to Cura, Fabian and Hexus are dead. We saw that Bjorn killed them. So that makes a lot of things different. And changes a lot of things. And we know that Marcus is going to kill David. Haley left him a note saying that that he needed to kill David after Emlyn was born. So David's going to be dead too. Lots of things will be different. Are we going to get to see who Rob's swimming is soon? Soon is a strong word, guys. No, not soon. It's not coming in Lexi's book. We will see that happen, though, because as Rob said, he was going to see Lexi again, and he knows that. He just doesn't know why. So, an outtake from Nathan about meeting Lizzie. Oh yeah, that would be cute. I'm assuming you mean Nathan Calvert. Yeah, Nathan's point of view on meeting Lizzie. Okay, let's see. Pooh. Yeah, I know, Angela. I know. But Rafi's coming back. Don't worry, guys. He'll be around. Oh, that no. Let's see. If Rafa knows certain things, does he have an idea when he'd meet his wing? No, he doesn't know that. He has an idea about he instinctually knows as an angel, he's going to see Lexi again. He just doesn't know why. So he doesn't know when he's going to meet his wing, but he knows that he will. So it's not like wolves where they're like, it's my mate, like Eric. It's not like Eric. He was like, am I ever going to meet my mate? I don't know. Am I going to have to take a chosen mate, or am I going to meet my fated mate? So he does not know. But angels know that their wing is out there and they're going to meet them. Curious on Calista Harper and Gunner's new relationship will work now that they're confirmed mates. How will off periods work? Could we see that question gets cut off? Hold on. Have to go view the question. Could we see more people have more than one mate? We might see more people have more than one mate. How it's going to work? They're going to work how they've always worked. Harper doesn't really have a desire to be with anyone outside of Calista and Gunner. Gunner might. He's been having relationships with other men when Calista and Gunner are on, but they're going to function how they've always functioned. So they're not really going to change that. The only thing that's going to be changing is we'll see how Haley, gets everybody to realize what's going on. So would love to see his wing be part of Chase's pack. Oh, we'll just have to see who she ends up being. What other supernaturals have a god instead of a goddess? Demons. Demons are one that have a god instead of a goddess. And we'll have to see who else comes into play, guys. There is one I'm really excited about coming into play. It's an outline I told you guys on Facebook probably a month back now, that I had an outline that just had to be written so that I could go to sleep. And I'm really excited about that because in that one, devils do have a god and a goddess. Not like a god like, angels and I don't know. So every supernatural group has a god. There's still in my universe, in my head, there's still the devil, which is kind of like the king of the demons. That's his title, but they still have a god. If that makes sense to you, kind of all goddesses and gods are over their children. So the devil is their king. But yeah, there's a book coming. Obviously, we know what's coming next. We have Raised Kira, and then we have EJ's book, then Cassie's, and then Alexander's, which we've been teasing since book one. Yeah, so it's a supreme being. Yes, a god is like a supreme being. But there is a supernatural group that I did not make this one up, guys. It's a supernatural group that is established, but I have not written about. They're going to come into play in a future book, and I'm really excited about it. So we'll have to see when that is going to be. I might I think after Alexander's book, I'll just kind of have to see where I'm at with that, because I'm thinking we might do another Ribbon Strand after his book and then come back into those books. Has the Hikura God become more involved with his children? We did see a female lead tournament. So we did see that with Eric's pack. Has the Hikura God become more involved with his children? Yes, but not like the goddesses. So involved, but not. Will Dylan ever get to kill a zombie, guys? Zombies are not going to come into play. It's just a running joke that they have. Let's see. One second. Someone rang my doorbell, and my husband is not answering my text to get the door. So let me see. What else is this? Cheers with your drink. I'm having one too. Yep, guys, it is wine o'clock. The toddler is down, so there's wine. Be right back. I am back. Okay, let's see. Do we see more goblins? Goblins do come into play in other books, so we will see them. Emmeline should magic a zombie doll. She could do that. It would freak Dylan out, and that would be really funny. I love this. I love your guys' ideas like this. That's funny. I could see Lacey and Emmeline getting in on that. That would be funny. Okay. Let me make sure I have seen everybody's questions. I answered that. Let's see. See, my email is telling me that there are more comments, but I'm not seeing them. So if you asked a question and I haven't answered it yet, it's eventually going to come to my phone. For the last question, I see you have another. Angela, ask all your questions. Just go for it. Does King Arthur get another mate? We will see what happens with Arthur. He hasn't actually met his mate. So it was implied that Phelan might have been to him, like he was his second chance for her. That was implied. It wasn't confirmed yet. We haven't confirmed that. So we will just have to wait and see there. Okay. Will we find out about how Dylan feels on his parents not getting their wolves back? Yes, we will. We find out a lot of things that Dylan feels about in Alexander's book, and probably a little bit of EJ's. Cassie's book is going to be interesting because I'm going to have to avoid talking about what's going on with her and when she meets her mate in EJ's book. So that's going to be some tiptoeing that I do. But we do know how he feels about it. We know that Haley talked to him. So she's not ignoring what the siblings want. She did talk to him and Travis and tell them like what the wolves said and what they want. And I'm sure you can imagine Dylan's response was colorful because he does not care. And Travis doesn't like his parents. So I hope Dylan's kids get their wolves. Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what the moon goddess does with that. So we'll have to see or Travis's kids. Yeah, their wolves did say they do want to come back and protect the family because they do believe in the white wolf. Their wolves believe that the white wolf is coming, and they believe it's coming to their family. But they're asking the moon goddess to protect the Frost family, and that could mean a warrior of their pack. It could mean a lot of different people. So we'll have to see where they come back as. Will we see more of Tucker and Marabella? Yes. I actually have a outline written for their own little book because they are kind of off in their own little world, and we don't get to see very much of them. But yes, we will see them in EJ's book, actually, because Christopher is mated to Brooke. And Elise is going to be one of the point of views that we see. So we will see them. I love Oscar and Jenna. Me too. They're a lot of fun. So I think their dynamic is fun because obviously we've only seen the partial fairies as girls mated to the wolves. So I love Jenna and I love Oscar. He's a lot of fun. Will we see any more frost giants? Yes, we will. Yeah, guys. So in Raised Hakura, Aiden knows right away that they're the prophesied family. So a lot of that's going to come out because they don't keep secrets, and they're very excited about that. So those come out in very interesting ways. Hope to get to see their point of view going to the celebration. Whose point of view? Whose point of view? For the next book, is it always going to be Haley jumping into the ribbon, or will it be Haley from that realm? I think that's going to fluctuate. So obviously we know that all the Haleys are going to be in the ribbon, so they're going to pop in and out of people's books. We will meet some ribbon Haleys in the next book because she's going to eventually be in the ribbon. So we will meet some there. But will it always be Haley jumping into the ribbon, or will it be Haley from that realm? We do see our original Haley because I love her, and I think she deserves to know how tall she would have been. So we are going to see our Haley in this reality again, because obviously she brought herself to her dad, but she's going to come back to this realm because I think she deserves to know how tall she was going to be. How has Dylan not made a frost giant joke now that he learned about Dylan has a lot of fun in the next book, guys. We see more of their dynamic. Specifically Jackson, Dylan, Lucas, and Eric. We see a lot more of their dynamic. And eventually Chase comes into play, but Chase is younger. Oscar, Jenna, and Haley getting her wings. I don't know, guys. I don't know if I'll do another person's point of view on that. I'm not sure. Right now I'm a little burnout on point of views from that because I've done it from 4 people's now. So not sure if we'll see Oscar, Jenna, and Haley getting her wings. Will Dylan get his hood member? Guys, we're going to have to see. There's a lot of them running around now. Heath and Allie are having kids. Isaiah's found his fairy. You got Ted's kids. We just found out how many of them there are. So how does Dylan get popcorn in such odd positions? Well, we know a lot of it is Danver bringing him popcorn. When he's in other places, he actually has it stashed in his coat. And a lot of it is Dylan is very prepared. So Dylan has popcorn all throughout all his allies' territories now. He had Omegas deliver it, and some of them he did himself. So he has popcorn stashed all throughout the areas. We see in Alexander, maybe even EJ's book, he befriends, like, Buttercup is mates with Wesley, so he's there all the time, especially after the kids take over the pack. So, he befriends some Omegas who know when to bring him popcorn, but he mostly has it stashed around just because he knows he needs to be prepared at all times now that they have fairies in their lives. So I think it's funny too. I think it's funny that Dylan has thought this far ahead, that he's, stashing, because he can't link like the alphas can. So it's not like he could link somebody to bring it to him if he's not in his territory. So yeah, he's prepared, and he's had popcorn delivered random places all throughout the place. And if they go somewhere that he doesn't have popcorn, he grabs from his stash before they get popped out. So that's what he's doing. But yeah, sometimes he's got it on his person, and sometimes he's grabbing it from around where he's had it stashed. So, and now that he has his own popcorn company, it's easier because, well, he just ships things places. So, because like all the packs have, they're not like secluded in their packs. So if you're an allied pack, you can be friends with somebody. So somebody from Eric's pack can be friends with somebody from Chase's pack, and they introduce them to somebody from Dylan's pack. So Dylan can say, hey, do you know somebody out there that I can ship this popcorn to, and have them hide it for me? And he's the beta of their pack, so of course they're going to tell him who can do that for him. So, and everyone thinks he's funny, because he is. And I think this was answered. I saw some people saying that maybe, I don't think anyone from the Patreon group thought this, but I saw some people in the Facebook group saying, oh, is Beta McAllister shady because he was in Foray? No, he's not shady. We know he's not shady. He just got popped in to see the action. So Beta McAllister is not shady, guys. I'm glad you're receptive to know the point of views. Yeah, I might revisit it. Maybe, maybe by the end of the next book, it might be fun to revisit that from a different point of view. But yeah, like I said, we've got 4 points of view on that right now. So not really ready to get in the mindset of writing another character's point of view of Haley's Wings. So, because it was emotional writing it from Haley's point of view, like to get into her mindset for those. It's really emotional because Haley goes through a lot of traumatic things, and that's obviously going to be different in the next book. But her emotions are so intense, and a lot of those are wrapped up into Eric. So, writing her moment of feeling his pain and realizing that their connection was dwindling, that he was dying, and then her, feeling guilt because it took her a minute to get a hold of her pain, and she, in her mind, could have lost him because she couldn't get a hold of the pain. And the only reason she did get a hold of her pain was because her kids popped in, and she didn't want them to pop to their dad and see him like that. So it was very emotional to write it from her point of view. It was a bit more fun to write it from Eric's because, I thought it was hilarious that, he's like, I'll just swim, and then the kids just pop him back inside. So it's like, yeah, okay, Dad. But yeah, Eric's point of view was a bit more fun, but it was really emotional to write it from Haley's point of view. Hey, you gave me what I really wanted to know on Eric's reaction to Sandra's behavior. I love it. Yeah, I feel like that needed to be known. He wasn't just brushing it off, and he didn't know about it in the first place. I think it's hard when you're in Eric's position. So it's hard when it's your family to see stuff like that. To see what's really happening because it's your family and that's how you were raised. That's normal to you. So for him, he didn't realize what was going on. Are we going to see Claudia in the next book? Yes, we are going to see Claudia in the next book. Is she going to try and start some trouble even if Eric has already met Haley? Claudia is Claudia. She's Claudzilla. I'll say that about her. Obviously, she doesn't have fairy enchantment from Hexus because Bjorn killed him. So we'll have to see what kind of trouble she causes. But yes, she is around, and she's Claudzilla, so she's the worst. Let's see. Are we going to see Aiden share his light? And if so, are we going to see Haley's point of view? Well, Haley wouldn't be around when his light was shared if he shares his light. So might have her reaction to finding out if he did or not. But whether or not Aiden shares his light, it's a bit different for him. So, he is the most powerful fairy around in a very long time. And he was not raised to think that's something that he should do, and neither was Lucinda. Let's throw that out there. Lucinda and Aiden were not raised to think that their light is something that they should give away freely. They are going to be around a lot of people who do that. So we will see that effect on them. Obviously, we see it affects Bexley and Idale. But Aiden and Lucinda don't live with all the partial fairies. But Aiden is obviously monitoring them closely. So we'll see how that goes. And I will say, if that happens, we would get Haley's reaction to it, because she would be like, I'm sorry, people listen to me? What? So, and that would be a really big deal for Aiden. It would be a really big deal for Aiden and Lucinda. So, because, if he shares his light, she's then in a position of, what does she do back? So that would be a really big deal if he did it. So, okay. I think I'm caught up. I think I'm caught up with everybody. I hope to see. Okay. My email is lagging. I don't know who just asked the question. Ask it again. So that it will send it to me. I just want to say how great it is for you to get on here and do this. I love getting on here and chatting with you guys. It's a lot of fun for me. I like doing the Q&As on Facebook. But obviously I like this a little bit more because you guys can see me and you can see how I can explain things more here, in my opinion. And I can kind of expand on things that might not have been asked. So this is actually a lot of fun for me to get on here and talk to you guys. I really, really like it. So, but I enjoy getting on here with you guys and chatting. There are ants everywhere. I don't know why, in my office. They just won't go away. It's all the rain. All the rain brought all the ants into my house. But I enjoy getting on here and talking to you guys. It's something I'm really passionate about, and I love chatting with other people who are passionate about it too. I get in a little bit of trouble because sometimes I, give things away I shouldn't, because I am passionate and I do love it. I know you have such a busy life, and for you to do this is great. Life is busy. Life is busy for everyone. I'm a big, I think you make time for the things that you want to make time for. So I subscribe heavily to that theory that you make time for the things that you want to make time for. And for sure, it is an ant. It is an ant. Yes. It's termites. I would be out of here, guys. But yeah, I love getting on here and chatting with you guys. I do have a lot of things I'm doing. Sunday and Wednesdays, I'm editing Haley's book, trying to get through that. To submit it places, see if we can't get it, in hardback for you guys in a physical copy. For me, that would be really fun, because then I would, I just think that would be great. I would love to see that, and I know that you guys have all said that you would love that too. So I am doing a lot and writing these shorts, but I love getting on here and talking with you guys because, like I said, it's something that I'm passionate about, and it's something that you guys are passionate about. So it's fun to talk about things with like-minded people. So I really do enjoy it. Oh, don't worry, Angela. I appreciate you checking because I would be the type of person who would not know. I'd be like, wait, there's a difference. What? So I appreciate the ask. Is there any specific reasons why fairy are selfish? That's just how they've always been. That's how they've been raised. They've been raised to believe that they are the best supernaturals that there are. That's why they're elitist about their blood, because they believe that they are the best supernaturals out there. They can be in one place and pop to another place the next. They, like witches, they have magic. They can conjure things to them. They can perform, they call them charms. But like witches perform spells, they perform charms. So they think that they're the best because they can do all this stuff. So that's just the way they've been raised, and that's just what they think. And so, they're told to be selfish about, they're the most powerful, and, they can live their lives how they want. And yeah, you have a mate, but that doesn't mean you should be tied down. And so, they just were raised differently. So they are selfish just because that's how they've always been. And they're covetous of like it's mentioned, Eric says that they like shiny things. They do. They like shiny things. And they're covetous of other people's shiny things. And they're like in the mall thing, they have a lot of shiny stuff, and they have the best diamonds. It's another reason why that they're so elitist about like, we're the best. They have the best stuff. So, but they can conjure whatever they want. So the diamonds do come from their realm, but it's, they can do whatever they want. So they just see it that way. Will Alpha Sophia get her second chance mate in Lexi's book, or will we have to wait around? We'll have to see. We will have to see what happens with Sophia and if we'll have to wait around. So she does get a second chance mate. I love my characters, and I love Sophia. I think she's a very relatable character because she's young. That was really, she's young, and, she made some mistakes where she shouldn't, but she recognizes that. So I think that that's relatable because, when in my 20s, I thought I knew everything. I really did. And, in my later 20s, it didn't even take me to get to my 30s to realize that I did not know the things I thought I knew when I was 20, let alone, 22, like I just, did not know. I just didn't know things. And so I think Sophia is very relatable, but she does get a second chance mate. And I think when that happens, we'll have to see. I will say when that does happen, there will be an outtake here of her point of view of them meeting, because that's obviously, we're not going to see her point of view because I don't have a book planned for her right now. So I think that needs to be in her point of view. So that will be on the Patreon when that happens. So let's see. Looking forward to the next book because I'm looking forward to King and Queen of the Brothers. I am looking forward to it too. They are such a fun group to me. And it's fun to see them in how it would have been if they raised Haley. It's so different. To me, it's fascinating how it's like, a few little changes. This is obviously a large change. Where she's raised is a large change. But a lot of the other ribbon strands I've thought of, it's like a few small decisions. Like we will see, I thought of one the other day where Phelan makes different decisions. She has Bexley and she goes back to Arthur. And that obviously is going to be a huge change because she'll be around because he wouldn't have let anyone hurt her. So that's a huge change. But it's just a small decision, like one decision and just like world different. And we saw in the outtake where Demon said that there was an alpha, and it's Eric, who wants information about the princess. So, he wanted them to up their price. Well, demons are people who, they like money. So if a demon had found out what was going on with Haley in Foray, they would have gone to Eric with that information if he would have paid them. So there is going to be a ribbon strand where a demon tells Eric what's going on. And that changes so much. It's fascinating to me, all the different like little things that could change like so much for all of our characters. So it's going to be fun. I know in the second book, Katie mentions about on and off periods. Do we hear more about that? Will she? So, okay, Katie mentions off periods. Do we hear more about that? Will she consider an off partner? And if so, does it have to be a woman or can it be a man? So the Hikura women, the way that they're raised, their off periods are women because they don't want anyone to question who their kids are, whose their kids are. So that's the way they were raised. Katie was not raised that way. And she, they're going to live a long time, but that's ingrained in who she is. And Logan's going to respect that. So, being one of the brothers that was around the longest without a mate, he doesn't really care. And that's one of the things I really like about the Hikura race is it's based on mutual respect and understanding. So she's not comfortable with it. So Logan's just like, okay, if you're not comfortable with it, that's fine. So they just don't do it as a couple. And that's kind of the same with Kalista and Harper. Like Kalista and Harper, she accepts Gunnar and kind of sees them all as a trio. They just have different ideas of how things should go. It's just based on mutual respect and conversations with their partner. So Logan's not upset with Katie because she doesn't like it, and he doesn't care if she ever comes around to it because that's something that's a big deal for her. So he just accepts that, and that is how their relationship is. Do vampires take chosen mates? No, they don't, because they are immortal and they have time to wait. So they have pets in the meantime. They can have a relationship if they want, but vampires are mostly newer vampires are ones who would agree to have a relationship just because they see things so differently because they're around for so long. So they do take pets for companion, and that's just what they call them. Like it is what it is. But they don't take chosen mates because they know that they're immortal and they could die, but it's, unlikely. So they don't take chosen mates for that reason because they understand that they have time. So, but yeah, it's also, in the next book, it's fun to see Veronica and Haley's dynamic because she already, in our reality, she sees her as her mom. That's more so in the next one, obviously. But I really like their relationship. This Haley that we're going to see is very different because of how she was raised. So she understands, she knows what the earthly realms saying are. She still doesn't think they make sense because, let's be honest, a lot of them don't. But she understands. She has a better relationship with Aiden. She doesn't have a better relationship with Arion because Fabian is dead. So all the relationships are just very, very different, and it's a lot of fun. Relationship with Alania is interesting because, our realities, Haley left her note. And eventually she sees it. So their relationship is interesting. because she knows from the get-go that that Veronica and her relationship is so different. So she kind of just doesn't relate to Alania like she did in this book, where, you know, she was like, well, the only person that loves me is my mom for like 13 years of her life. So it's not that to her. And she kind of realizes that their relationship isn't what it should be early on. And then she eventually reads our Haley's note and is just like, this woman. Are you planning on bringing mermaids into the series? Oh, not at this exact moment. They have been mentioned, so I reserve the right to bring them in. There is, like I said, there is going to be in one of the future books that I wrote an outline for because I had to get it down. There is a supernatural group coming in that we have not seen here yet, but they exist. But it's not mermaids. But I reserve the right to write about them later, because who doesn't like mermaids? And we joked about Emily being a mermaid because she's a good swimmer. Angela, I'm sorry that your connection is bad. That's no good. Is it a dragon? No, it's not a dragon. But I reserve the right to bring them in later too, because I think they're fascinating. I think dragons are fascinating. But to me, it's we've mentioned shifters, that little boy in Emily's book. So shifters are around too, so they could come into play. But no, it's a group that hasn't been mentioned in the books yet. So, and her backstory, it's a girl that's going to be somebody's mate that comes into play. Her backstory is so interesting. I love it, and I think everyone's going to be excited about it. So dragons would be great. I'm going to have to think about that. I have to ponder that in my mind. So, but yeah, that outline in that book, I'm really excited about it because it's a mix that we haven't seen, because they're not the girl that's coming in is not pure of one thing or another. So she's a mix. It's not mermaids. But she's a mix, and gosh, guys, it's gonna be so good. I'm so excited about how that all goes down, because I've been laying the smallest Easter eggs in Lexi's book with specific characters about this girl who's going to come into play and how it happens. So, are you reading anything while you're writing? I don't have a lot of time to do that. I have a Mary Higgins Clark, a Flair Burke, the latest of their books that I am going to read. It's going to happen one day. And I love J.D. Robb. I love her series, and I have her latest one that I have not read yet, but I plan to. Maybe once I get Haley's book, I'll edit it and submit it places. I'll take a little break on editing and read my books. Centaurs would be good too. But it's also not that. So she's also a partial of the group I'm talking about. So, yeah, she's a mix that we haven't seen before. I'm really excited to introduce her. I'll give you a little tidbit. She's going to be younger than Alexander's mate, but she's going to know her. So they're going to know each other. Yeah. So, little tidbit for you guys. Still very excited about Alexander's book, and sometimes I look at my outlines and I'm like, why is this so far away? And then I read another outline for one that's coming before it, and I get really excited for it. So, but yeah, Alexander's book, I've been building to that. I'm laying down so many tracks to his book. So that book to me is really exciting. And I'm going to be like next level excited after EJ's book. So you guys are going to have to bear with me. It'd be fun to find out that Ted and Matt's baby mama was part of something else. Just saying, what do you mean, part of what? Have we met the mate for the unidentified supernatural book? We recently did meet him. So the character's name is out there for who the unidentified supernatural mate is coming for. We do know a few things about her. Her mate's name has been said recently. Had to introduce the character because I was way too excited about the outline that I'd written. So, yes, that happened. Has some other soup in her bloodline. Yes, she does. So she's something we've never seen and something we have absolutely seen. So, but she doesn't know either of those things. So it's apparently a theme in my books that moms are the worst. I don't know, guys. But her mom sucks too. So she doesn't know what she is. Does she believe she's human? Yes, she does. She does believe she's human. She is very much not so, though. I'm like on the brink of telling you guys other things about it. And I'm like, stop it. Yeah, I'm really excited about my outlines, guys. But I read Alexander's outline and this other one today, so I'm like super hyped about them. Tell us more, please. Dylan may pass out if you bring dragons in. Dylan will pass out. Dylan will pass out. Tell you more. Be more specific. Tell you more about what? I'm chanting over here. Say it. Just tell us. Okay, I will say the girl that's coming into play, we've met her dad. So she has not been born yet. Neither has Alexander's mate. I've seen lots of people like trying to figure that out. And I've said many times she's not born yet. So neither of the mates are born yet. We have met the parents of Alexander's mate. And we have met the father of this mate that's in a different supernatural group that we have not met yet that thinks she's human. So, and I just don't even know how many books away that is. I might just have to write it after Alexander's book and then go back to the ribbon because I have no chill whatsoever about it. But we'll have to see. So, yeah, her dad reveal, though, is she doesn't know her dad. And then the reasons for that will come out. But we will have to see what those are. And it's I really like that book. Can you tell us the supernatural side that we know for her? If you guys guess it, I will tell you if you're right. I will say no one has guessed it so far, but if you guys guess what it is, I'll say you're right. Yeah, gosh, I want to give you guys hints. But no, if you guess it, I will tell you if you're right or not. Okay, see, my email went off, but I don't see the question. Why do you do this to me? But yeah, if I see somebody guess what it is, I will tell you if you're right or not. Hood James. What about James? What are we saying about James? We know who the Hood are. I'm only going to tell you what type of supernatural she is that we don't know. I'm not going to give away what the one is that we do know. Is he the dad? I'm not telling you that. The dad is a huge reveal. And I will say, I seriously doubt if anyone could get at this point who the dad is. I have put down some hints for that to come into play later. But yeah, I don't think anyone at this point, just a little hint about the Mermaids is the better track of which group she's a part of, guys. To go back to that and think on that. The Mermaids is closer to any other guests I have seen for her supernatural group. But yeah, the dad is a big reveal in that book, so I'm not giving that away. Siren, you are right. Lavon is right. Siren and Kristen and Lavon, you guys, she is part Siren. Erica and Faithlin, you four nailed it. It's a siren. So it's a royal siren, guys. So things get crazy in that book. But yeah, she is part siren, part something else. Is she Hood? We've been seeing a lot of new Hood members lately. I'm not going to tell you what her other supernatural side is. But yeah, we have met her dad, and yeah, that is going to be interesting. But I think that we'll give everybody a couple more minutes, see if anybody has any other questions. Is her father Hood? I'm not revealing who her father is. That's a huge thing in that book. Angela, I was thinking you were going to guess that. But yeah. So who her dad is a huge thing in her book. Aren't they normally evil? Yes. In my universe, does that mean they will be evil? No. Do they have evil tendencies? Probably. Does she? No. She's cool. Like all the main girls in our book, she's cool. She wasn't raised around them. She doesn't know she is one. And okay, let's just get a little bit into her. So a little bit into her is her mom kind of is absent in her life. She has a half brother, and she's trying to find him. She's trying to find her half brother because his dad came and took him away for a specific reason, but she doesn't know what it is. And she doesn't know that he wants to see her. So she thinks that he doesn't want to see her and that he kind of forgot about her, but she's trying to find him. And she, after Alexandra's book, y'all will know where she's from, but I can't give away that right now. But Alexandra's mate saves her, and she's a big mentor to her, and teaches her, how to fight. She teaches her how to fight and how to protect herself. And there's a reason for that, which will come out later. But yeah, that's why you ask, because my universe is different. Yeah, there's going to be aspects of the sirens that are true, but no, they're different in my universe. But I hope we see more of Emmeline. I miss her and Lucas. I miss her and Lucas too. They are around a lot in the next book. Have no fear, guys. Emmeline, Haley, Lexi, and Miley are best friends in the next book, so we see a lot of Emmeline. But yeah, this new character. So she's been on her own a lot because her mom is half siren, so her mom is half royal siren. So she's kind of rebelling against her family, taking her, but she is a siren, so she kind of goes through guys. So she's always busy with a new boyfriend. And her daughter's kind of alone and raised herself. And she's very self-resilient, and she's had jobs. And, she's very into her education and about school and protecting herself. So she's a very different type of supernatural that we've seen. So I like her a lot. She's very independent, very kind of no nonsense, and like all of the girls in our book, she's a badass. So I really like her a lot, and yeah, I like her journey. So I'm excited about her. I'm excited about Alexander's mate too. I'm excited about those books, guys. I am already going to apologize for how next level I'm going to be about Alexander and his book and EJ's book. So we do see a lot of EJ and Elise, but there are just so many little tie-ins to Alexander's book that will be going on, and I'm going to be way too excited about it, guys. Are we going to see the polls used from the Badass Girl Games? Probably in Patreon, yeah. In the larger book, I don't know, but there will definitely be some outtakes on here about those. But yeah, we see a lot of Emmeline and Lucas in the next book, guys. Don't worry. They are around. They are fun. I love Haley and Emmeline's kind of relationship in the next book because they are close in age, and they train together because, sorry, I haven't eaten dinner yet, guys. But I will wait a couple more minutes and see if there are any more questions. If not, we will wrap. Do sirens have god and goddesses? Probably god. They have goddesses. Sirens have goddesses in my universe. You can't wait to hear about the quads. They're coming. They are coming. But I will say, I don't ever let any of my characters go. I can't. That's kind of why I came up with the ribbon. Yes, we will hear about King Arthur and the new baby. We'll hear about Brianna. But Haley is the big main character to me, so she's always going to be in the books. But as I said, I can't let any of my characters go. That's why I created the ribbon. So we will see Emmeline and Lucas again, and to me, I find it fun because we'll see them in different places in all the ribbon books. So we'll see how different realities affect them, and I think that leaves it open for me. Excuse me. I think that leaves it open to talk about maybe doing, a ribbon strand with Lucas and Emmeline and seeing how different things affect them. Yeah, I am sometimes when I talk too much with this lovely cold that I've got. It's at the end. But sometimes when I talk too much, I start coughing. So I am going to go ahead and wrap, but I have had a lot of fun, and we will do this again, guys. I love chatting with you guys. I love doing this with you guys. Thank you so much for joining, and I will talk to you guys later.